Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Giant Connoisseur. It is your humble host, Jordan Omogbe. And on this episode, we're going to do the deep dive into my top 10 niche fragrances of all time and for life. Meaning, if I had to get rid of all my fragrances today, these would be the fragrances that I'll be keeping out of my niche collection. And this is coming from someone who has over 300 bottles of fragrances. And to be frank, this was pretty difficult for me to do. Like, you know, people don't know this, you guys don't know this, but I call my fragrances my babies, man. And I had to really sit down and think about this list. This list was pretty difficult and pretty sad because there's some fragrances that I wanted to put on this list, but maybe I might do a part two of this. I might just do a part two of this, but we'll see. But as of now, let's get into it. Before we start, I'd love to do some quick house cleaning. I just want to say thank all of you guys who watch the videos and comment below. You know, it's been pretty engaging to see you guys in the comment section and enjoying the videos as I churn them out. Please, I want to let you know that means the absolute world to me. Like, you guys are tuning in and watching, and I'm glad to be able to share this passion of mine with you guys, because even if I never did this channel, I would still be collecting fragrances because that's how much I love it, or someone can say that's how much of a maniac I am when it comes to fragrances. That being said, please, any fragrances that I mention on this episode, I want you to please take time and some effort and go explore these fragrances through the means of sampling. What I mean by that is they have a couple of discounters online, a couple of websites that sell samples. You go to your local limon markers, and hopefully you have a nice perfumery in your community. Go buy samples and try them. I promise you, before you go invest your hard-earned cash into a fragrance, you know, that I recommended to you because I love it, I want to make sure that you love it and you enjoy it. And by sampling the fragrance, you get to live with it. You get to see how it works with your body chemistry. You got to see whether you like it, you enjoy it. Because the worst thing to do is to listen to my list, go buy a fragrance with your hard-earned money. And these fragrances, some of them, you know, they're on the cheaper side, but some of them are pretty expensive. But after you've shelled out the cash to buy this fragrance, after you wear it, you're disappointed. I don't want it to happen. I want to make sure that whenever I'm recommending the fragrance here, you're getting the best bang for your buck, and it's something that is worth spending money on. That's my mission. Because if I don't do that, I believe I have failed you guys. And please sample. With that being said, let's get into the list. Next on the list is a fragrance from the house of Roja Dove. And this is none other than Roja Dove's Apex. And when this fragrance came out back in the year, back in I think it's 2022, it got a lot of flack for being on inspirational fragrance. You know, the fans of this brand felt as if this felt more of a cash grab than an actual artistic endeavor, which Roja Dove himself is known for putting out. He has a whole bunch of city exclusive. I think he has like Dubai exclusive, Britain exclusive. Like he's known for churning out fragrances with a unique type of smell and perfumery. That being said, I am an avid fan of this bad boy. Oh my goodness. I remember the first time I smelled this bad boy and I knew I had to take it home that day. And it was the day of the official launch of it. When it came out, I had gone to my local perfumery, had it in there, a couple of spritzes on my hand, walked around. I looked at my buddy and said, this is coming home with me today. The video of Denzel when he said, I came here, I ain't leaving here with nothing. Yeah, that was me that day. This is gonna leave here. This is gonna leave that store with me that day by hook or by crook. And I'm glad it did, because over the last couple of years that I have owned this fragrance, I have enjoyed the heck out of this fragrance. Oh my goodness. I love it. My wife loves it. And you know, when the wife or girlfriend or spouse loves a fragrance, you know, that is an added bonus, because it becomes like a cheat code when it comes to the girl. You just know which one to pull out and say, you know what, she likes this one. Let me just use this one. And easy to go. And I remember when I wore this, man, she wanted to rip my clothes off. That is how good this thing is, man. You know, I can't even fret, man. This is one hell of a fragrance. I know that it does get comparisons to Dior Sauvage Elixir, but to my nose, Dior Sauvage can be a bit screechy, you know, and although I do see the similarities, it's just, I feel that this is a completely different style than Dior Sauvage Elixir, because to me, Dior Sauvage Elixir is Dior Sauvage with spicy notes, but I feel this one is more of an old school type fragrance that has been modernized with spicy and fresh notes to it. That's my personal take on it. If I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, this fragrance is a solid 8.9. That is really high. We started off hot tonight. 8.9. I give it an 8.9 out of 10. Get your nose in this. This is Apex by Roja Dove. Next on the list is from a house that doesn't get a lot of love, but they've churned out a couple of banging fragrances. And this happens to be one of my fave from the house. This is none other than Faris by Kajal. What you get here, pretty simple. I'm gonna get straight to the point. This is never gonna be a long review. This is a fruitier, fresher, smoother version of Dior Sauvage. You heard that right in the stutter. Yes. If you're a person who loves the DNA of Dior Sauvage, but you want to smell a little bit different, this does the trick. It is a compliment getter. People love it. It lasts a pretty long while. Doesn't choke people out. 8 sprays, 10 sprays max. You can wear this dressed up, dressed down, formal, informal. It's a great fragrance, man. What can I say? It's a great fragrance. And, you know, a fragrance like this one has to be in my top 10 because, you know, it is a pretty easy to wear fragrance and it checks all the box. The only thing I would say is I don't wear that quite often because it is reminiscent of Dior Sauvage, and I hear people say, "Oh, what you have on, is that Dior Sauvage?" Don't play me like that. You're not. Although I do love Dior Sauvage, but come on, man, you know. you know. Don't worry about what I got on, girl. Don't worry about what I got on. This is something else. But if you want compliments, this does the trick as well. Get your nose in this. This is none other than Faris by Kajal. Next on the list is a fragrance that has taken the typical fresh style of fragrance that we all know and have turned it upside down on its head and have made something that is completely unique in its profile but still familiar. This is none other than Xerjoff's P33 Sketchbook Edition. What you get in here, this is a fragrance that is a woody, slightly spicy, fresh, musky, aromatic fragrance. And I said a mouthful. What the perfumers have managed to do in this fragrance is make a fragrance that is a fresh fragrance, but have added a couple of notes that typically, you know, you would not want to put together because they might clash, but in this instant, it works. And those are the notes of iris and cinnamon. And when you add those notes together, it creates this powdery, spicy spicy note that takes this fresh fragrance and takes it in a completely different direction. That, you know, by having that iris and cinnamon, it gives us this very sharp, floral, but still powdery that iris is known for. And let me tell you, fellas, this thing smells amazing. Oh my goodness. It is a phenomenal composition. Oh my God. This thing, when I first smelled it, I was like, what the heck is this? It smells very familiar, but it still smells very different at the same time. And as someone who has a large collection of fragrances, this type of fragrance completely piques my interest. Like, I love when perfumers, you know, take risk and, you know, take a genre of a fragrance and then completely turn it, you know, upside on its head, but still making it work that it can be worn every day. Essentially, this can be worn all year round. What I mean all year round? All year round, this can be worn. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 out of 10, this is a 9. I know, this is a 9. The only thing though you have to be careful with this is, because of the sharpness from the combination of the iris and the cinnamon, you have to make sure that you're not overspraying this fragrance. Because if you do overspray this fragrance, I'll say it one more time, if you do overspray this fragrance, you would choke somebody out. That is just a fact. You're gonna choke people out. It's gonna be offensive. But you wear the right amount, and oh my goodness, the comments are gonna follow that scent trail until they meet you. That being said, get your nose on Xerjoff's P33. Next on the list is a fragrance that, upon first sniff, blew me away. I had never smelled anything like this in my entire life. This fragrance was so good that I had to take it home with me. Like, I knew this had to become a part of my collection, because there's no way that I was living the store without it. This is none other than Ganymede by Marc-Antoine Barrois. And what you get in here, this is a woody, fresh fragrance. It sounds very simple, but when you spell it, it sounds a lot more complicated. This fragrance has the notes of saffron, violet, immortelle, what else? Mandarin, akigala wood. And what that does is make a interesting take of what a modern day woody mineralic style fragrance should smell like. And oh my goodness, does this hit all the marks. I remember the first time I wore this to my second WrestleMania ever in Dallas. The amount of compliments I had on that day, I'll never forget. This thing is so freaking phenomenal. Oh my goodness. This is an absolute masterpiece. Like, you can smell that, and like, effort and time had been put into the creation of these fragrances, and you can smell the care that took into curating this fragrance, because this is nothing short of amazing. If you have a chance, get your nose on this, because over the last 4 years, this is one of the most hyped fragrances. And to be honest, it deserves it, because in a genre of fragrances where things can often get repetitive as people are just becoming formulaic and just doing what works, it takes a lot of courage to step out on your own path and create something completely unique that is also successful. Man, oh man. This fragrance is a fragrance that when you wear it, you feel like a very wealthy man, like a rich man. That is what it smells like. It smells like a very wealthy, rich individual. To be honest, I would not dress this down at all. I'll go business casual and business, or very high-end attire, because this just smells of opulence and luxury. And I think he designed it that way. Get your nose on this. This is none other than Ganymede from Marc-Antoine Barrois. Next on the list is a fragrance that you all have already heard me rave about, but I am going to continue raving about this fragrance until it becomes one of the hottest fragrances on the market. That fragrance is none other than Mr. Crivelli's Santal Volcanique. What you get in here, essentially you get a sandalwood fragrance, but what they've done is add the note of coffee and cardamom. It also has notes of citruses, specifically bergamot. It has some cedarwood, it has musky notes, and it's slightly mineralic. And what that has done is taking a typical sandalwood fragrance and giving it a little, sexiness. I would say it kind of put a little bit of hair on his chest, where it made it its own unique concentration, right? This fragrance, man, it's one that for the weather we're going into right now, summertime. This, some basketball shorts, white t-shirt, sneakers. You're going to the beach, put this on. When that sun, that 120 degrees sun rays hit your skin, and and the scent just emanates from your skin, and it just creates this amazing scent bubble around you, they're gonna come running. They're gonna come running. I promise you. That is how good this bad boy is. They're gonna come running. Trust me. Because the amount of people who have asked me about this fragrance, let's not stop. And it's just, it's so unique in its own way, and that's why I love it. I enjoy it. It's very easy to wear. It's slightly playful in its own way, and I just enjoy it, man. If you have a chance, please get yours on this. This is, rating wise, a 9 out of 10. Get your nose on this. This is none other than Mr. Crivelli's Santal Volcanique. On the list, next on the list is a fragrance that if you watched my top date night fragrances from last year, I did mention this fragrance. And to my dismay, this fragrance is still not getting the love that it deserves. This fragrance deserves a lot of love, and it needs it. Like you guys have no clue how good this bad boy is. Every single person I've introduced to this fragrance has fallen in love with it. Like it hits all of the marks. This is none other than 8 and Bob's Egypt. What you get in here is a fragrance that has the notes of some citruses, leather notes. It has the notes of nutmeg and cardamom, and this and taco bean. This is such a masterpiece of a fragrance that the sheer fact that it's not as popular as it should be is just unjust. It is unjust because, as you can tell, I have used the heck out of this bad boy. Look at where that is. Like, that is how much of it I have used, because that is how much I have enjoyed it. It is that great. It is that phenomenal. You get compliments. People want to know what you're wearing. This just hits all the marks. Like, it pains me dearly that this fragrance is not as common as it should be, because it is a masterfully crafted fragrance. That being said, if I was going to wear this out, I'll wear it on date nights, on cooler evenings, or during the winter time, because that is when this bad boy shines. It just lingers through the air and it creates an amazing scent bubble around you that just encapsulates you, and whoever comes into your space, they have no other option but to get over with this. If I had to rank this, which I will, this is another 9 out of 10 because it is a phenomenal composition of fragrance. Get your nose in this. This is Adam Bob's Egypt. Next on the list is a fragrance that I've never spoken about on this channel. And I've had this fragrance for about 4 years now. 4 years. And let me tell you, this is one of the very first fragrances, actually niche fragrances that I ever purchased with my own money. And what is so special about this fragrance to me is, you know, and I guess I'm gonna do a video of this. I've been someone who has always loved fragrances for a very long time, but I was never really a collector until 2021, right? And that happened because of my trip to Saudi Arabia. I had the chance of experiencing, you know, how, you know, the brand of the Bakor, and I remember vividly that has transformed how I viewed fragrances, and I just went, you know, deep into this rabbit hole. And I remember the two fragrances I bought that day. I bought Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait for my wife, and for me, and this is even before I knew what niche luxury designer fragrances were. I just knew it smelled good. The fragrance I'm talking about today is none other than the masterpiece that is Kilian's Black Phantom. This fragrance here, this is a fragrance that has the notes of coffee, rum, sugarcane, vetiver, and sandalwood, but it just smells like a old-fashioned mixed cocktail. That's what, you know, with a little bit of coffee to it, and it's boozy. This is such a masterpiece of a fragrance. And I like the fact that this is refillable. You can buy the refills for it, so I love the aspect of it. But other than that, I think, in my personal opinion, I know everybody loves Angel Share, and this shares, you know, it's beautiful fragrance in its own right. But as for my personal taste, I believe this is still one of the best, if not the best, fragrances from the house of Kilian. Because what they're able to accomplish with this scent profile is nothing short of amazing. And prior, you know, to smelling this, I'd never smelled anything that smelled like this in my entire life. This was a completely new experience for me when I experienced this fragrance, because I was just new in my journey of collecting fragrances. And this was love at first sniff. There's so many beautiful things I said about these fragrances, but like the last one, this is a close encounter type of fragrance. This is where you want to lure them in, and you want to slaughter them. That's what I call this bad boy, man. Like, this is such an amazing composition, because when you smell that, you can smell the rum. You know, the coffee comes out. It's done in such a way that, you know, it's not overpowering, but it's still very sexy. When I mean sexy, it is extremely, extremely, extremely sexy. This, like I said earlier, is for nighttime, winter, date nights. That's when I'll put this bad boy up. If I had to rate this is another 10 out of 10. Going forward, all the fragrances are going to be 10 out of 10s, because that's how much I love them. Get your nose in this. This is none other than Kilian's Black Phantom. Next on the list is a fragrance that I also discovered on my trip to Saudi Arabia. I remember going to a store called Faces. It's the Saudi Arabia version of Sephora. and they had, I was showing one of the consultants in there in my collection because I had a plethora of fragrances, including niche. And he goes, "Hey, have you ever tried Penhaligons?" And I was like, it's cool. They're all right. And he's like, "You know what? Let me show you this one." And he pulls out this fragrance. And by the name Penhaligons, I'm sure you guys who already watched my videos probably already know what I'm speaking about. Upon the first sniff, I was blown away. The fragrance I'm speaking about is none other than Penhaligon's Lothair. What you get in here is a milky, fig, citrusy, slightly spicy, vanillic, musky, airy type fragrance. It has notes of tea, fig, fruits, citruses, and some spices here and musky notes, and that composition makes for such an intriguing, complicated, sophisticated, alluring scent. This is, I think I have a new nickname for this because my wife loves the heck of this fragrance. I call this the mousetrap. This is a mousetrap of a fragrance because, oh my goodness, the way this fragrance sits on the skin. And it's not really a loud type of fragrance, right? It sits a lot more close to the skin. But when folks get into your personal bubble, oh my goodness, comments galore. Comments galore. Oh my goodness. This, in my personal opinion, is one of, if not the most slept on fragrance in Penhaligon's fragrance lineup. And I think they have over 30 formulations or 30 types of fragrances in the whole house. To me, this is not marketed enough because this is such an amazing composition of a fragrance. Get your nose in this. This is none other than Penhaligon's Lothair. Next on the list is a fragrance that I spoke about last year on my Hidden Gems list because I think this might be the greatest summer fragrance of all time. And no lie, really, I do believe it used to be Louis Vuitton's imagination, but I think this has taken the throne because this is an amazing summer fragrance. And summertime is coming around. Summertime. And I love summer because I can pull out some of my favorite fragrances. Next on the list is none other than Carner Barcelona's Sal y Limón. What you get in here, this is a citrusy, salty, slightly aquatic fragrances. It has notes of lemon, bergamot, some limes in there, ambergris, jasmine, patchouli, and you get this amazing summertime fragrance that just uplifts off the skin. Oh my goodness. This is a 10 out of 10 composition because it is just that good. I'm telling you, man, this smells like vacation in a bottle. That is what this is. This is such an amazing scent. And as the summer is approaching here in Florida, I would be wearing this bad boy every day. And it is damn sure a compliment getter. Get your nose in this. This is none other than Carner Barcelona's Sal y Limón. Next on the list is a fragrance that I think is a 10 out of 10. Let's just get the ratings out of the way. This fragrance is a 10 out of 10. And in my personal opinion, it is the greatest unisex fragrance ever created. So much so that out of my 300 plus collection, this is my personal number one fragrance out of all the fragrances I own. And I hate ranking my babies because they're all my babies. But if I had to rank them, this is number one. This is none other than BDK's Gris Charnel. What you get in here, this is a fragrance that has the notes of sandalwood, fig, black tea. It has some musky notes. It has vetiver, and it has some citruses, and this is to die for. This is to die for. This is to die for. Like the thing about fragrances is when you find something that is a completely new creation, but not also is a completely new creation, but it smells phenomenal, but it's also unique because this is not something that you're gonna, that is gonna be very common. When you put this on, not only are you gonna smell nice and amazing and alluring, you're also gonna smell unique because nobody's gonna smell like you. Like I am all in the name of finding scents that make you smell special. And this, whenever I wear it, I feel special. I feel sexy. My wife loves this on me. As you can tell, over half the bottle is gone. And I promise you, when I do go through this whole bottle, when it is done, when I finish whatever is in here, I will be purchasing another 100 ml because that is how much I love it. This is such recommendations and when to wear it. This is a date night killer. Oh my goodness, you're gonna have them weak at the knees. Trust me, fellas, trust me. I'm gonna make a video about unisex scents that women love on men, and this is in that category. Most definitely in that category. Like I said earlier, this is a 10 out of 10 fragrance. And if you have a chance, get yours in this, try it on, wear it on date nights, and I promise you, your wife, your spouse will not be disappointed. Get yours in this. This is BDK's Gris Charnel. And that's all, folks. Those are the top 10 greatest fragrances in my collection. Literally, like I said earlier in the video, if I had to get rid of my entire collection, those would be the 10 that I would keep. And I just give you guys the sauce free. Literally the sauce free. Because every single fragrance that I mentioned today are all bangers. Okay? All bangers. So please make sure you're sampling. And until next time, Giant Connoisseur